All right, welcome everybody. Great to see so many people in the audience this evening. I'm going to call the Moab City Council meeting to order on February 10th at 6:02 p.m. And we'll start with the pledge. And Caitlin, I'm going to ask you to lead us through.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we have two presentations this evening. First, we have an update from Sea Haven. Abby Taylor's here to present that. A lot of really good stuff going on at Sea Haven, and since they are one of our partners, I thought it would be great to get that update. So thanks, Abby.
A couple of reports if you guys want to share those, and you can have them after. Sorry, I don't have enough for everybody.
Awesome.
Hi everybody. My name is Abby Taylor. I'm the executive director of Sea Haven. I'll quickly share some of Sea Haven's history, give some updates to our current programming and our expansion trajectory. We were established in 1990, and we provide survivor-centered advocacy and shelter services to individuals impacted by domestic violence and sexual assault. They serve Emory, Grand, and San Juan counties, as well as individuals from the Navajo Nation and the general Four Corners region. In 2025, we reached nearly 400 survivors, provided over 100 shelter stays, contracted over 750 counseling sessions, provided financial aid to over 90 households, totaling over $250,000 in assistance. I love sharing how much money we provide to the community, but I feel like our staff's time will always be our greatest and most important resource. In addition to serving survivors of abuse, Sea Haven provides prevention education in the community. Here we provided presentations, trainings, other things to over 5,000 individuals, reaching most of those reaching folks in specialized groups, which include local youth, tourism industry workforce, and the local Indigenous community. These are groups that, for various factors, face disproportionately high risks of violence or harassment. Sea Haven has a team of 22 trained individuals from across four major departments: admin and operations, advocacy, shelter, and prevention. The majority of our team has lived experiences, which we consider an expertise. Beyond our team, we collaborate with numerous entities on local, regional, and statewide levels. We believe in taking a multidisciplinary approach to violence response and in meeting our clients' needs. I could talk about that for an hour, but I want to focus on one specific team in particular. Sea Haven, the Grand County Attorney's Office, Moab City Police, and the Victim Assistance Unit was selected to participate in the Institute of Coordinated Community Response Program. Our team is one in four cohorts that were selected across the nation. To date, we have done a lot of great stuff. We hoofed it to Dallas, Texas for a conference on crimes against women last May, and we're planning on going again this May. We've completed 2 training sessions from nationally recognized experts and have another training next week. We conducted case file reviews and completed case mapping activities to identify strengths and areas for improvement. Our team is preparing to create a formal coordinated community response team, and soon we'll invite more members to participate. We'll create a formal meeting schedule and goals and objectives. Recently, we've had many big wins. We were selected as the sexual assault service provider for the state of Utah in 2025. We received 1/3 of the sexual assault prevention funding appropriated in the state last year, and it's for a 3-year contract, which is great. With these funds, we've partnered with private preschools, and we reach elementary and middle schoolers in the Grand County School District, providing healthy relationships, body safety, education, all to prevent sexual violence. Sea Haven has also received a coveted federal contract, which will fund regional expansion into San Juan County. are putting on the Ritz 2026 just a few weeks ago. I am still recovering. I don't know about you. We broke our fundraising record and we made a net income of $50,000. As many of you have heard, Seahaven has outgrown our current facilities and we have officially started our renovations at our new shelter, where we will be doubling the number of beds available to individuals displaced due to violence. After this, we plan on doing a facelift to our current resource center, where we will create more private and confidential spaces and have dedicated areas for enrichment and empowerment programming. That includes things like group therapy, financial empowerment classes, client yoga, and more. The third and final phase of our project, we will aim to use our current shelter building for childcare services and youth programming. On behalf of Seahaven, I want to thank the city for working with our team, approving our permits. Our central location is so valuable to our clients. To share a quick anecdote on that, we are just around the corner. There's one time I accidentally set off the alarm system, and it was incredible to see how quickly the police responded to our campus. And I'm thankful they haven't had to respond to anything truly dangerous in the recent past. We're thankful to be a neighbor to you all and are happy we get to stay downtown. Other things that we're working on right now, February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and our prevention team has been busy spreading awareness in the schools and on online campaign. We will have a social media post. We have a scavenger hunt every Wednesday for the month of February. So keep an eye out and you can go find a good little gift. This year is our first year we'll fully utilize Valentine's Day as a time to recognize and celebrate what healthy relationships can look like. We have a small fundraiser this weekend at Desert Sun Ceramics where folks can paint pottery, and 10% of the proceeds will go towards Seahaven. And then on Saturday, February 14th is the National Day of Action and for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirited People. Seahaven will have signs displayed along Center Street, along the county and city government lawns, sharing statistics, resources, and other information about this issue. We thank the city of Moab for being a great partner in that as well. Thank you for giving me this time. I'd love to answer any questions if you have anything.
Questions?
Did you say where the new facility is? Is it?
We're lucky enough to buy the house next door to our campus, so we're just expanding. Yeah, right there. Yep.
Great.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, how's that going?
Great.
So you have started.
Yeah, the renovations have started. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What's kind of your timeline on that? And
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it depends on the space. I don't feel too equipped to give that right this moment. Within the year, that phase should be completed. In the next few weeks, we're going to start looking at the resource center in that second phase, and then work on getting those submitted for a permit. And then, so we're doing kind of this nice multi-phase situation, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, so starting on plans for the resource center, submitting those as that renovation is going, submitting plans for the childcare center. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm also curious about, you guys expanding to San Juan.
Yeah.
That you provide some services.
Mhm. Currently, we provide what we call mobile advocacy services. So we have advocates that are regularly traveling down to San Juan County and Emory counties. And we meet a lot of people in person with that mobile advocacy. We'll bring them up to the shelter if they need shelter. We do a lot of stuff just online too, on the phone or through email. That expansion will look like hiring a satellite advocate. So they'll live in San Juan County and have a satellite office. Yeah.
Amazing.
Cool.
Any other questions for Abby? Abby, thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
so happy and proud to have you as our partner.
Thank you.
And fortunately, I guess, we have you in our community. We're very lucky
Mhm.
to have you. And congratulations on your expansion.
Thank you.
Able to stay in town. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming, and we'll see you at your events.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Abby.
Thank you so much.
Next up, we have Alexi, but before Alexi starts, I forgot public comments. So many people here. I thought we might
Yeah,
get some
anyone?
public comments. Any public comments? All right, seeing none, we're going to move right into Alexi's update on the Moab area transit service that we provide.
Right. This is just an annual update on the service. What I'm going to go through today is, or this evening, is what the ridership has looked like over time, including the last year, some changes that are ongoing that have already happened and that might happen, and a little bit of talk about funding and then discussion if you would like. So, this has been going on for a little while, but we're really going into our fourth peak season. Some of the groundwork was laid beforehand, going back to 2018. But we are in a 5-year grant cycle. So going into our fourth season is getting us closer to the end of our initial funding. The Moab Area Transit has a recap. 2 main services. We have a downtown route that runs seasonally. It will start in March and then run through October. And then we have an on-demand service that runs year-round but has seasonally changing hours. People can bring bicycles, wheelchairs, and pets on the bus, which is not something you can do on every bus. So there's a lot of different ways that people can use this, and we'll get a little bit into what those numbers look like. So this year is the last one. This is 11 months. So it's a little short because we don't have February numbers yet. And the way our MAC calendar works is basically it starts at peak season in March. Passengers, it's like one-way trips, essentially. We also have this data as route or rides, which is more like a round trip. It's interesting because there's a bigger discrepancy in the number of passenger rides that we see than we do in full rides. We've talked about it a little bit in our meetings. We have a couple theories, but ridership as far as passengers is a little down. If you look at this, which I don't have here, by rides, then we have kind of a little like bounce from where it's showing with just passengers. But it's pretty similar in the number of passengers per day. Wheelchair rides are down. I don't know why. Wait time is a little up, and we have run into some issues with this in the past year because on-demand service is pretty popular and people could be going anywhere in the service area during an on-demand trip, which means that they can be kind of inefficient at times because the bus could be going a lot of different directions. So even though our average wait time is pretty similar over the years, there is some increase in high wait times that's being averaged out here. One of our busier months, I think 30% of rides were over 35 minutes in a wait, which is long enough that we've gotten some complaints. Other than that, we're having more unique riders get on than we have in the past, which is nice. And then moving down to the fixed route, it's a little down from last year, up from our first year. Pretty similar. We've been doing a lot of stuff that I'll talk about to try to encourage more people to use the fixed route. And our hope is that will also reduce the wait time and make on-demand more useful for the people who need it. All right. So this is those numbers in a graph. The dark blue are the passengers for the on-demand. The kind of red-orange is passengers on the route. And then we have passengers per revenue hour in the lines here. So you can see that it's kind of flattened out as we've gone over time. Like it's less dramatic between our peak and our off-peak. January numbers were pretty good this year, higher than they have been in the past. I think we're just going to keep working on trying to improve the service so it's more useful to more people. Okay, so this is specific to the route, which runs downtown. If we start at the south end at Maverick and then go north, we end up at Fairfield. And then from there, it goes back down Main Street, down to Village Market. At Maverick, it would turn back around. This happens something like every 50 minutes throughout the day. We have some stops that are much more popular than others. We do distribute flyers and other things to hotels if they want them. So this could have something to do with the level of interest of the hotel to promote it. And then some of them you can tell are just popular places in general, like the area of downtown or on the Spoke.
What's with the element?
Yeah,
don't
how do we
know.
replicate that?
Yes, right.
Yes.
Like, how do we get that many
Mm.
people
Yeah.
going to other places?
I mean, so Sydney's been helping me with a lot of the outreach, and I wanted to talk to her about it because she created a map and mapped every hotel or, you know, place that people might stay within, I forget if it was like a quarter mile or something of the downtown route, and then offered those businesses information, flyers, business cards, table tents, different things.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, but I don't know if the element actually like pushes this, so that their like
Yeah.
customers know that it exists.
It's the whole complex too, which I think
Right.
is large, which means a lot of employees, but it's obviously word's gotten out there.
Yeah,
That it's an efficient way to travel.
and an important conversation for us to have with them and find out
Right.
what,
Right.
what kind of messaging there is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it is closer to proper
Right.
too, so I'm wondering if. Cause the other higher ones, like also looking at the Spoke being really busy, like
Mm-hmm.
location of.
But that could also be
Alcohol.
just center in Maine. Yeah, it
Yeah.
could be alcohol. But it could be center.
Put crudely.
Yeah, I agree with you that it would be worth talking to them to see if they have things that are working or
Right.
what their customers are saying about it. The Lions Park stop I think is surprisingly high because it's kind of out there.
Huh.
But it's our third most used.
So
So
bikes. I bet you.
probably, yeah, might be people taking bikes out there. So
Or riding their bike down Porcupine and good to
uh-huh,
back.
being ready to come back.
Right.
Take the mat back.
It's-
So, Alexi, I don't want to get it. Are you okay? Can we?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
looking through, would you
absolutely.
rather-
This is
But it makes me think we should have something on board, some kind of just really quick survey.
Mhm.
Well, they're in their seats for 10 minutes going somewhere. What are they doing? What are they accomplishing? Something to try to capture this rather than us trying to, interpret this. So,
Yeah, we did do an end of season survey, but we didn't ask specifically we did ask which stops they were at, but we didn't ask
Okay.
why. So we have a little information about that. But we can also have some more discussions with Downtowner about it because right now they have sort of a one question follow-up that's a rating. So right now people are rating it at like 4.8, 4.9, pretty high.
Great.
And then they have a follow-up if you rate it low to ask what happened. So we could also talk to them whether there's like a 2-question survey or if we can maybe alter the one that we did end of season this year.
Yeah. How is that survey administered?
So we did a push notification to the app, and then we also put signs on the buses, and
Yeah, it's on the
then
app.
we put them a little in the community too, because we were trying to get people who don't ride as well.
Yeah.
Is part of what we wanted to get at was how to make it more useful, and the people who have already figured out how to use it might have some feedback that people who aren't using it have interesting information as well. And then we also stood out by Moonflower for a while and walked around downtown and just started asking people.
Nice.
So that's what we've done this year. I think we'll probably alter it next time we do it.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a heat map. This is for the on-demand service, so it doesn't use stops, right? People call it to where they want it. On the, let's see, right left, we've got pickups there, and then on the right we have drop-offs. So you can see there's a lot of similarities between the two, but some differences. And then I've marked some of the like red spots. It's maybe not surprising that we're seeing a lot of community services in particular. Whether people are going to those specific places or it's a convenient place to go somewhere else, there could be some of that too. But since it's grocery stores, hospital, I think a lot of these are the destinations themselves. But I was a little surprised that the food truck park area
Yeah.
was a big drop off zone.
Cause there's no parking.
Well, I think part of that might be somebody is like, hey, where's a good place to eat? Food
Right.
truck park.
Right.
Yeah, what do you like? We all like different things. Let's go to the food truck park.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of things that you can, and a lot of places you could go from there. And then,
Recommendation by driver.
Yeah.
yeah, it does cut off the northern part of that. And there are more people also who have a few destinations in like the north or south end of there. But this is just sort of the main hotspots.
Also interested to
Yeah.
see the family support center being
Yeah.
a hotspot.
That's
Mhm.
That they're, yeah, it's great whether they're pushing it or I don't know why that is.
Yeah, right. I'm glad that people are able to use it. And I do think that there might be other places too in the community that people could use the service to get around. All right, things that have happened to change in the service. We've mostly left it the same, but we've been doing things to try to improve people's access or ability to find out about it. So we painted stops, a few select stops, and then the hope is to be able to add a couple more maybe this year. We're looking at dates. We also tried putting temporary maps at stops during the beginning of the routes season. So in March, we also finished a time point trial, essentially being able to put a schedule together so the bus was more predictable instead of just running in a loop, that people would know if they got to the stop, if they had to wait 10 minutes or 50 minutes to get a bus. Those things I think are going to become permanent. We're going to stick maps and time points on the stops to try to help people out with knowing when they can catch it and where they can go when they do, without having to download the app.
That's a good idea.
We've also evaluated the stops. This was mainly Sydney, who's been helping out a lot with evaluating whether they have shade or benches, which ones are good candidates for adding things if we put together grant applications. And then we also applied for and were accepted to the Bear Hub Technical Assistance Program. So they evaluated our program. They've asked professors, read literature. They've gotten a consultant on to talk about app design. And some of the things that we're working on with them is we're in the process right now of getting it on Google Maps. So when people look for how to get somewhere, the map will come up as one of their options. Currently, it'll be time points and not the live location of the bus, but we're hoping that if we get it down with the schedule, that eventually we'll be able to do live bus location as well. We've also worked on getting more consistent materials. We've had different names for the downtown route in the past, and also there have been different variations on the route and on demand and micro transit. So trying to make sure that the stops have regular names, and also that we're referring to them as the same kinds of service on all of the materials, something that we're working on now. And then also trying to frontline the downtown route is a first option for people to help free up some of the capacity on demand. Yeah, and then we already talked about more maps and schedules at stops. And then this one might be small, but we got some feedback when we talked to people that they felt like a bus didn't stop for them. And we were wondering if it was an on-demand bus passing them by and not the route bus. So we're also going to get magnets so they can label themselves to help people know if that was a bus that should have stopped for them or if it was an on-demand bus. All right, last piece of this is funding. This is 5 years, which is what we had with our initial funding. We're just after the beginning of year 4. And I went ahead and threw year 6 in there because it shows us what things might look like depending on what kinds of funding we get in the future. So over time, the way the hotspot grant was written, it gets smaller and the city is taking on more of the responsibility for the program. When Richard was here, he also got an FTA ARPA 5311 grant, which is a flat amount of money that we can choose how to divide over time. So we've had that ramping up as the hotspot ramps down, but they end about the same time. So both of those funding sources are going to go away. in year 6. We have applied already for a regular FTA 5311, and it has a match of 50%, which can be met by us or other funding sources, as long as they're not from also the same pot of money. So this is, by the time you get to year 6, we don't know if we'll get that grant. We don't know if we'll find other funding sources, and what we do know is that the cost of transit will probably go up, because our first contract was a flat 5-year contract. So the kind of increase there at the end is based on estimates that we got for our 5311 application as to how much it will cost in the future. So that's where we stand now. As in, we are here year 4, and we are exploring things to do for year 6.
Does our data show how many county residents we serve versus city?
We don't let's see, for people who are getting on the route, we don't really have personal information about them at all. We do have the hotspot map, so we know where people are being picked up, and we know if that's in the city limits or not, but we don't specifically ask people. But we
Yeah.
do know where they're getting picked up.
Sometimes the boundaries, I mean, unless you own your home, sometimes you may not know exactly if you're in the city or not. So we could do an analysis of the on-demand though, and just kind of see, just as just some information to use, how many times we pick up people outside of the city limits. So
I think that'd be good information to have. We will be talking to, I sent you guys an email about the meeting we're having in April. And this is one of the things we'll be talking about with the county. And I think they'd be interested to know how much service we're providing, and, if there's an opportunity to expand, especially if we would like them to contribute more.
Yeah, I do have raw data that will show us like pickup drop-off points. So right now we can at least get that, like how much are people using it outside of city limits.
Yeah, I think that would be good to share. Questions?
Anything else? Yeah, I have one more slide. So
okay.
yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
happy to answer questions about this. And
Nope.
then
Go ahead.
Prospective funding options. So we have state and federal grants and other things. Some of them are targeted strictly at planning. It is something that we're interested in, is getting more planning done to talk about what kinds of services we want to offer, where should the bus go. We've had a lot of discussions about whether the route should stay going up and down Main, or whether it should serve other areas where people might live. Also, do we like having it managed through a contract? Is that something that there are other options for management on? So planning grants are something that we're looking at right now for the future of the service. There are also grants for operations, but these are rarer. We've already applied to the one that we discussed, and then capital, which for us is less of what we do right now, because we have a contract and somebody else owns the actual buses and does all the hiring and things like that. And then I have earmarks there, but also that can fall under other potential categories. Okay, so those are a few of the grants or other types of funding that we could be looking at. Most of them do have matches of some sort. Bus fare, having passengers pay for part of the bus, is also an option. And there are also sales taxes that are allowed in Utah that can also help fund transit. So those are the ones that we're immediately available of, we are immediately aware of, but we're also doing more research on what else is available as well. So I'm ready. Yeah.
Are we looking at advertising or sponsorships?
That is a possibility that we could do advertising. Since right now we're on a contractor, it would be something that we could either look at stops, which are ours, or we could talk to them about how they would handle sponsorships like wrapping buses, which is also something and agencies do.
Absolutely.
we'll be talking about sponsorships and opportunities in the next few meetings, actually. So
Great.
In general. not
And
just-
in general, not
Yeah.
just for buses, but
Okay.
but it opens up the discussion wide. So
Any other questions?
Keep going.
For more bus stops, have you Spring Spruce Up is coming up, and I know they're looking for tasks for jobs.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And
Yeah.
we also are looking at tree planting for that one too.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
That's really
okay, cool.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was, okay, so one kind of common thought about funding sources, I mentioned this to Representative Monson yesterday, and he also suggested looking at the rural healthcare investment fund. He thought that this could be related. I don't know. It sounds like
Hmm.
they're looking for innovative projects. I even hesitate, but I think it's important. Well, I think collaborating with the county, I know for sure there are residents at Arroyo Crossing that use it, and as development continues, even in branding Moab cities as downtown, and then having like a county larger loop would be interesting to talk about. But I would love to explore that could look like. And then thinking about alternatives in terms of bus fare, or like kind of charging. You know, I'm wondering if we talk larger about parking, does the city eventually start paying, like charging for parking in downtown? As a way, you know, provide the map for free as a way to kind of like encourage people. I don't know. That's like a much larger conversation that I think we've been anticipating inching towards as we're talking about downtown improvements and investment. But that's yeah, I'm curious if people would even, how much people would utilize the MAN, the bus fare, and or if there's ways to have like a local pass versus visitor pass. Yeah. So many, I don't know. Yeah.
You have more questions? Go ahead. Okay, well, there'll be plenty of opportunity.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, do you have any comments?
I
Miles?
mean, I'll echo a lot of what Caitlin said. I was interested when you mentioned having a route that accessed more of like where people lived. The idea of kind of shifting some of our resources towards maybe two fixed routes, one that still serves the downtown center, and then one that you might have to wait a little bit longer for, but will pop by. And then when it came to any kind of bus fare or something like that, I think one of the most common sense ways to begin to integrate that is leave the fixed routes free, but begin charging a fare or asking for like a pass for the like specialty pickup and drop off, because that does take a lot of our resources. And so like if you paid a small fee for the personalized service, or you had to carry a pass to access the personalized service, I think that would make a lot of sense. And you're still providing a free service on the fixed route for people who really need it to be free.
That's a great idea.
Right, and that may encourage people to take the fixed route,
Exactly.
especially if they live close to where the spot is to be picked up.
Precisely.
It's a good point.
No.
Anything else? Well, we'll have more conversation about this. As I mentioned,
Yes.
we will be talking about this with the county. And I, was telling Michael, it'd be great for us to have a presentation like this that kind of outlines what our needs are. Because the county, the commissioners have never really seen any of this. They just know the services out there. And so it'd be good to share this data with them. And that's why it would be great to get, how many people we're serving in the county so they can see, those numbers as well. So anyway, more to come on this in a couple of months, and it'll be ramping up, right? What's the schedule? When are we going to start the schedule?
16th. Yeah, we're gonna move into the peak season. So we'll start seeing the route again, and then the hours will extend for doing the on-demand.
All right.
Yeah.
Right around the
Thank you.
corner. Spring. Have we even had winter yet though?
Yeah,
Like I'm worried about what spring's gonna be.
I think it's
Anyway.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
Thursday. is
Thanks,
the
Alexa.
winter.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah.
that. Okay. We have no department updates, and I do need to mention that Jason Taylor is not here this evening. He's out being a dancing dad with his daughter. I believe that tonight are the award ceremonies, and that is way more important than what we're doing here tonight for Jason. And then Tawny's just not available tonight, so we just have Colin, Caitlin, and Miles here this evening. So next up, we have 5 items in our consent agenda. One is a ratification of a letter of support for the Moab Under Transition Act to Chairman Mike Lee of the Senate. It says state, but it really should say Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee. This was a letter supporting the transfer of the site project upon closure to Grand County. And that was heard in committee last week, and it passed with a vote. So thank you for allowing me to get that letter out before the council meeting. And also we sent a letter of support for the Federal Water Resources Development Act, WRDA, for authorization and funding. This is for a flood mitigation, particularly the 300 South Bridge. And this is act through the Army Corps of Engineers. And so we needed to get that authorization, and then we go for the appropriations. So we sent that out last week as well. That was also a deadline. Consideration and acceptance of fiscal year 2026 second quarter finance. Michael's going to give a brief update to you before we vote on all these items. And then we have approval of the minutes for January 27th, 2026 regular meeting, and approval of the bills against the city of Moab in the amount of $379,933.19. So if you want to quickly give an update on our finances and this is just where we are financially. So there's really not a whole lot of discussion with this, but if you have questions, I want you to feel comfortable asking.
So financials for the second quarter, and second quarter obviously ends December 31st. So we're not talking about January or any of February in this, but things are looking really good. Revenues are at 48% for 50% of the year, which is great because usually this time of the year is a slower time, and we make up most of the revenues for sales tax and revenue from resort community tax and things like that in the spring and early summer, and then again in the fall. And it's a mixed bag because obviously we're joking about the winter being tomorrow and Thursday, only 2 days this year. And that's kind of what it feels like. We've gotten a lot more visitors coming down, and we're seeing it in our tax numbers. And just really quick anecdotally, I won't put up any numbers or anything, but for the last few months of the payments for our taxes, sales tax, resort community, and TRT tax, we've seen some pretty large increases over the same months the years before. And these are taxes that were collected in October and November. And so it's been pretty interesting to watch that. They're not included. One of those is included in this report. One of those is not. October would be included in here because we received that in December, but November is not included in here. And that was one of the higher ones. Expenditures for the general fund are at 36%, which is pretty typical. We haven't made some large transfers yet, things like that. Pretty much everything is trending right on track. I'm put down some information in the staff report about where we're seeing the increases in taxes. We are seeing some increases in, actually everything's looking really good across the board. We're seeing some areas where spending is getting a little bit ahead of the calendar, but that's pretty typical in a lot of cases. There's a few salary line items that are just a little bit over 50%, and I gave some explanations to that. But I'll just state what those are really quick. Vacation buyback liabilities, and as you know, in the last month, we did an amendment to the budget so that those liabilities would actually come out of a different line instead of the salaries line. And then there were some minor personnel adjustments. But the big thing, number 3, is really the big thing when it comes to staffing levels, because a lot of times we're not at a full staffing level, so we can absorb some of these things. So you never see them as being a little bit over or ahead of budget because we have some buffer in there. But one of the benefits, it's a great benefit to have a full staff, but we're going to spend right up to what our salary numbers are because of that. Enterprise funds look really good. CIP looks really great. Cane Creek and a couple others. There were some charges that were supposed to come through last year And towards after the budget was approved, but before the beginning of the new fiscal year that didn't, those roll over, and we need to adjust the budget to show that the revenues are still there. The cost of the projects is still exactly the same. We just need to roll that money over into this fiscal year, which it does automatically, but we need to show that on paper. And I'd say we're still in a very stable financial situation, and things are looking pretty good for us. And we'll see what the spring brings.
Questions on the finances? No? All right, I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda items 1.5 through 5.5.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.5.
Motion by Miles, second.
Good
Second by Colin. Any discussion, Miles?
No.
Colin?
Done, thanks.
Caitlin?
No.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0 with no opposition. All right, we have 3 general business items. 6.1, consideration to extend ordinance 2025-12, amending the City of Moab Residential Utility Assistance Pilot Program to June 30th, 2026. Marcy's going to present this. It's very simple. We just need to extend it for another 6 months. As you recall, this is a pilot. We've got about 20 people. We want to try to see if we can get more signed up before we make this a permanent.
Correct. And so to start off with, again, it's just an approval for extension to get us through the rest of the fiscal year. And then we'll look at doing updates or adjustments starting in June, correct? Okay. So as the mayor just said, we have 20 people currently approved on the program, up from 13 from the last update, excuse me, that we did in December. Each of those applicants are sitting at $40 for the approval. This is all on the participation summary sheet that is in the agenda packet. We have 2 applicants that are Social Security disability, 2 applicants that are minority, and 6 applicants on Social Security. The remaining are income eligible or approved benefit programs. We had 1 removed because of the change of the property tax being current. And we had 3 denied due to the exceeding income limits. So one of the things that I will just kind of run over really quick that is not in my notes is we did learn that anybody who is in an apartment that's in low income, if they do get the subsidy, they have to count it as income, which then runs the risk of their rent raising, and it conflicts. And some of the reasons why we made some of these adjustments at the time in the program back in December was so that we could accommodate apartment complexes and more of the low income housing. And unfortunately, there is a conflict with that. So I'm not sure there's much we can do in that regards, but Michael and I have been discussing different things on the program, and we'll be ready to present our feedback on that in June. Other than that, that's kind of where we stand. We have been doing a ton of outreach. Lisa's been doing stuff on Facebook. It's been in the paper. We've been putting it on our bill notices. Anybody who is on our disconnect list, we are communicating to them about this program. Anybody who comes in that's talking about just struggling with the program in general, we are passing off the applications. We're explaining income limits are actually set higher than what you would have through the SNAP and stuff programs to help encourage people to apply. And while we're making those efforts, that is how we've gotten to the 20 applicants from the 13. We are still not seeing a very big drive in the community to come and do this. And the application is 1 page, really short. You provide the supporting documentation we need. I review it and it's immediately applied. And so I'm not quite sure what else we can do other than just continue our outreach and every communication that we have an opportunity to discuss it.
Are all of our community partners, CKAVN, all of our partners, are they all promoting this?
I don't know. Oh, she left. I was like, we could ask her. We can definitely reach out and ask. I know that we put this at the Multicultural Center because we do have a couple of people that we've worked through with that, but
Great.
CKAVN is actually a really good place to start with. So I'll reach out to Abby. Is it Abby?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll reach out to her tomorrow.
Thanks.
And if you guys have other places that would be beneficial, let Michael know, and we can definitely get them all the data. It is on the website. It's on the very front of our website, so it definitely stands out. But we will work, if somebody is just uncomfortable, they can come in and talk to me personally behind a closed door. Nothing is ever disclosed beyond our conversation, so to try to help people feel more comfortable.
I noticed it on my bill the last time I looked at it. I was
Yes.
like, oh,
I'm glad you
good.
noticed.
It's showing
A
up.
lot of people just throw those things away, so. But yes, it's on there. It's on our bills on Express Bill Pay as well. So anybody who's online is getting that information as well, which is great. So that'll go on the next few months. It's going to be the same standard statement for the next couple of months to try to get further outreach. But today alone, Cheryl handed out 4 applications, so that was awesome.
Nice.
Do we have a good process for non-native English speakers to go through that
It's-
application process?
The Multicultural Center. Yep. And they're great, that we talk to
Yeah.
them all the time with utility questions, business license questions, things like that. And so we work with the Multicultural Center quite a bit.
And they end up doing a lot of translation for us, and then also help us translate documents into Spanish or check AI's work if we have AI do it, which is
Yeah.
actually
And-
getting pretty good, so.
Yes, they do. And Sabrina does speak Spanish as well in my office. And while she gets nervous, she does great. So she is our go-to when we have Spanish speaking individuals come in commonly around not this program, but like business license stuff. And so
Yeah.
she'll sit and go back and forth. And also we've also used a translation tool, the Google translation tool, which has been awesome. They'll start it and then we just pull it up and do the same thing, or they'll bring their children in and communicate with us. So it's great. We always have an avenue and we always get what we need done. So
Perfect. That was just one of the things I could think of that would be a barrier to more applications, but it sounds like we got that handled.
Did you know when we increased the income limits, did that make much difference or?
because we haven't received very many applications and I didn't go through the process of reapplying because we will have to do that in June for everybody currently on the program. No, we did reach out to the 2 individuals that were denied for income the last time because we had the federal poverty level income, which was obviously very low for Moab. And we have not, unfortunately, had them come in. So
Well, new programs sometimes take time.
they do.
So,
It's going in the right direction.
yeah.
Yeah.
And am I right that, so we're spending about, or offsetting about $800 a month in utility bills? We've got 20 people, $40 a month. Is that right?
Yeah.
About
And
7?
so each individual is 450.
Okay.
I don't have the exact number. It's on one of the spreadsheets I provided.
So
you.
we're, even with what we have budgeted, we're a little less than a tenth of the capacity of.
Correct. So
what
we
we
have
have, but so we could have
$75,000
200
budgeted.
plus
We could
people.
help 150 people with the $75,000 currently budgeted.
Great.
To give a little bit of background, we initially started out at 75 for 6 months because we didn't know what the program was going to look like, how it was going to
Right.
change. And then I think the initial attempt was to increase that, but as of right now, the 75,000 is where we sit.
Yeah.
And with the applicants that we have right now, that's
Yeah.
substantial. So like I said, our goal is just to continue our outreach from our office. I know Lisa's been doing the same thing and hopefully, I think we might see more of this come this fall when everything starts to slow down again. And because we're getting ready to go back into busy season. So I think people might not think they qualify, but it'll be more beneficial to those people that, high water usage or lawns or what have you. So we're going to keep pushing.
Yeah, I know Chris Kaufman also gives out the information, but.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes, I did meet, I met with the county, the mayor actually asked me to meet with Mary Lou, and so I actually went over there. And they provided us a list of all of their people for us to send this out to in the city. So we are working on that to get them personalized emails or letters, depending on how they want to be communicated with, so that hopefully those people will reach out to us as well.
That's awesome.
So
That's great.
just another way for us to work together, the both of our departments. Yeah. Mary Lou's great too. She was awesome to talk to.
Yeah, and in talking with Chris, I know that like when people have property tax stuff, he's like, here are all of your options. at
Yes.
that point. So,
And we do have people come over, from their office saying, hey, so we hear.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, glad we're serving those 20 people. Hopefully we'll get some more. So
Yeah.
thank you for putting that program together. Could I have a motion to extend the program through June 30th, 2026? And then we will have more discussion on any modifications and extending it as a permanent program.
I'd like to move to adopt the extended ordinance 2025-12, an ordinance amending the City of Moab Residential Utility Assistance Pilot Program Policy to June 30th, 2026.
Motion by Colin, second by
a second.
Caitlin. Any discussion? Colin,
Thanks for your great work on this, Marcy.
Absolutely. Yep.
Caitlin, anything else? Miles?
Nope.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0 with no opposition.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Marcy.
Thank you
Nice
so
job.
much.
All right, well, we have two items, 6.2, consideration of request from Amasa Apartment Phase 1 for impact fee waivers under the Affordable Housing Partnership Policy and Impact Fees Assistance Program. And item 6.3, same request from the Collaborative 1581 Phase 1 LLC. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to table both of these items. As you see, there's two council members missing. We have a council member that needs to recuse themselves, and we all feel this would be better if we have this decision when all five of us are here to vote. So if I could have a motion to table item 6.2 and 6.3 until the meeting on March 10th. That he's gonna be out at the next meeting. He needs to be here. So if I could have a motion to table, that would be great.
Whole motion to table item 6.2 and 6.3 to the March 10th meeting.
Motion by Caitlin, second.
I can second.
Second by Colin. Any discussion?
I do just have one comment, for the developer of item 6.3. Be great to have our applicants.
They are here. They're on.
They're on Zoom. They're both on
But
Zoom.
since it's a table, I don't know that that's the appropriate time to have this discussion. Maybe at the meeting when we actually are considering it, we can ask questions, but please feel free to make your comment and
Yeah, no comment, but just as we are tabling, for future consideration of the applicant to, consider attending in person and or, providing more detail, at the future meeting.
all right. Motion by Caitlin, seconded by Colin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, these two items will be on our March 10th meeting in a month.
Yeah, and if I could just say the applicants, if you could just contact me tomorrow, I can walk you through the timeline and what that looks like and answer. I'm sure you have a couple questions, so. Okay.
All right, very good. That's the end of our general business. We move on to city manager updates.
Okay, I've got some quick updates, keeping with the theme of the night. So I'm going to talk about streetlight shields first. And just for anybody who's looking for information on streetlights and shields, I just did a test on Google. I typed in City of Moab streetlight program, and the first thing that came up was the city streetlight conversion, which is the one that you need if you're going to put in a request for shields, which is what I'm going to talk about. So starting on February 13th of this week, which I believe is Friday, through March 6th, residents can request streetlight shields through the city website. And as you may know, the Rocky Mountain Power has come in and replaced a lot of streetlights with LED lights that are night sky friendly, but they are a little bit different, and some people may be adjusting to those and how they function near their homes. If you have a situation where you are now having lights shine into your bedroom or anywhere else where you don't want it to shine in on your private property, then feel free to get on our website and put in a request for light shields. Rocky Mountain Power will be here the week of March 9th, and they will be installing those requested shields. Again, you can go to the streetlight conversion web page on the City of Moab website. You can do a quick Google search and bring that up. A lot of terms will bring it up, but if you just put in City of Moab streetlight program or streetlight conversion program, that will come up for you. We do need you to provide the pole numbers and the side of the light to be shielded, and we'd be happy to walk you through anything that you need on this. You can contact Alexi in the admin office. She is the guru when it comes to this, and she can help anybody who needs help. And Sasha at the front desk will be able to help as well. The city is covering the cost for these shields, but what the city has committed to is covering the cost of the shields the first go around. So we want as many people who think they need shields to apply during the first go round. And then after that, it'll be case by case as we look at individual situations and circumstances. All right, so just a couple of other updates really quick. I met with the Moab Golf Club recently. It's been a little while since we talked, but we had a good meeting talking about their future plans for a master plan up at the property. And just for information for anybody who doesn't know, who might be watching, the City of Moab owns the property, and we have a lot of wells around the golf course where we get water from. But we do not manage the golf course. The golf course is managed by the Moab Golf Club. And we did have a conversation about the pending lease and got an update from them on that. Something we want to update and get more information in, and they were amenable and wanted to move that process forward. Again, it's been, like I said, it's been a little bit of time, but they're ready to move forward. Also met with the Solid Waste Service District Director. It's always a good meeting with Chris, and great guy. And we were able to talk about the management of the dump sites and some of their policies and different things that are going on. And I just have to say, for the member of the board that's sitting here, I think it's under good management. So very much, yeah. So the sidewalk project is moving forward. The sidewalks in front of the Moab Information Center, pretty much done, but with the cold weather, they've had to cover those up a little bit. I think if they're not open now, they're gonna be open very soon. I'm pretty sure they'll be open for the weekend. And you'll be able to walk on the new sidewalk down there. And we're moving on to our next location, which is in front of the Moab Coffee Roasters.
It's going on right now.
Yeah, so we're really excited. The people doing that work are doing a great job. We're getting good work and good sidewalks out of it. And then the last thing, the budget process is underway. We are definitely busy working on budget for the next fiscal year. We start with looking at projections for where we're going to end the year. We talk about projections or requests from departments as far as what they need for the coming year, rollovers, things like that, and looking at our revenue. And I spent the last day looking at our revenue, and you don't know what the future holds, but things are looking pretty good for revenue right now. I think it's kind of a roller coaster ride for us sometimes, but generally staying in the positive. And I do think this is the 60th year of the Easter Jeep Safari coming up, big anniversary year. They're going to have some extra events and things like that. So we're hoping for a big spring and going into the summer. And I think you can still expect us to budget pretty flat as far as revenues go, but it's always a good, it's always great to see the revenues come in higher than what we planned. So that's always a good thing. And that was it for me.
Thank you. All right, now we have council reports, and we'll start with you, Miles.
Okay. So Caitlin and I attended the Colorado Association of Ski Towns meeting the 28th through the 30th in Salida. It was a great opportunity to talk to other city managers, mayors, council members that interact with economies a lot like ours. Even though we are not a ski town or we are not in Colorado, they had a lot of useful insights. And I thought that was a really great thing to be at. I'm really glad to be included in that. I managed to meet a little bit with some city staff, Michael on the 3rd, on the 2nd or the 4th with Lex and James. And it's been a pleasure to kind of get to know everybody and understand the issues that they're facing.
So I'm wondering, and Michael, I was thinking when you were talking, we usually have you gotten a facilities tour?
I have not, but I would love one.
Yeah. Usually new council members go on a facility. You guys are all welcome to go again if you'd like to get your head wrapped around what we own. And when you mentioned the golf course, so that you
Yeah.
can see the wells, so
I'd love to do that. And if anybody else wants to go, you're certainly welcome, but you do have to pay if you do it the second time. So, so no, I'm just kidding. Anybody who'd like to do that, I'll put something out.
that'd be great. I just,
Yeah,
sorry to
please do.
interrupt. I
No,
just
not at all.
wanted to mention that. I
It's
thought it'd be good for you to see.
it's been really nice to get to know the staff in a big way and like understand what are their main concerns and how we can facilitate their, the way they provide for the community. So I think that's great. And then I also attended the new liquor store opening and the Dabs luncheon and spoke to Erica Evans about a lot of, how our community interacts with that and how a lot of our tourists and stuff end up interacting with that. And then asked the all important question about whether or not we will ever get the ability to order wine. She had some interesting insights into all of that, and it was very nice to talk to all of them.
Order wide.
Yeah, well, in almost any other state, you can order it from a
Oh,
vineyard
yeah, you're
and
right.
be
It's
shipped
a-
bottles, and you can't hear. And I've always wondered why they wouldn't do it like in such a way that you could go prove your age at the liquor store and then receive your wine. Of course, there's logistical scenarios to that. Apparently, I am not the first person to ask that question by a long shot.
No, I'm glad you did though, because I used to order my wine all the time until I found
Yeah.
out it was illegal.
But it was but it's
Then I had to stop. But if we could, and I think the reason, Miles, is they can't collect tax on it.
yeah, but there is some things changing at state legislature that may facilitate that.
Great.
So it was a very interesting meeting, and it was cool to meet some of the Dabs crew and to see the new liquor store. I think a lot of our community is excited about it, and I'm excited about not having so much traffic on that one street that only has access from Maine, especially during season. That can be one of the worst lights to make a left at. So
Right.
glad to see that change.
Yep.
But that's it for me.
Thanks, Miles. Caitlin.
Okay, so yes, went to Cast with Miles and Slida. Which was a great trip. We toured a couple of different housing projects we toured a Fading West modular housing development facility, which is amazing. They've constructed over 1,000 units in 4 years, which is unbelievable to see how they've scaled. Toured a 3D printed home as well, which is really cool. And that was cool. Some conversations about moderate income housing in Colorado. Unfortunately, we don't even have close to some of the tools and resources for it to be comparable here, but yeah, just always really amazing to connect with our sister cities. Meeting with the mayor and Colin, checking in on things on the 3rd, I think. Yeah.
That's what I think.
Last week, right? I also went to the Dabs opening, which was really exciting. Kind of on a community announcement wide. Went from the Dabs opening to Aurora Crossing. Phase 2 is starting out there, which is really exciting. If I may share that. On the 5th, we had a housing task force meeting. Johanna Blanca is now the task force chair. I know that Ben ran that by you. Appreciate that. Yeah, and I think that she is gonna do a great job with kind of corralling all of us and making sure we put forward momentum. Yesterday, I was up on the Hill. Started my day meeting with Representative Monson, talking about some of our priorities and some of the things he's working on, talking about housing and all kinds of things. And then went to LPC Live in person for the first time, which was particularly exciting. They had a mayor from a town in Ukraine, which is a sister city to, I think, Midvale.
Somewhere up there.
Salt Lake Metro City. So just, yeah, really amazing experience. And then President Adams also came and attended and made a few comments to them and to us. Sounds like we are halfway through the session, and there's gonna be a lot of calls to action and a lot of bills starting to move. So, yeah, and then I was up there for Housing Day on the Hill, which was also really just exciting and fun to connect with Steve Waldrop. There's sounds like actually the transition of housing into GOEO is becoming contentious, which is
Oh, really?
surprising.
Yeah.
Um,
Curious
Yeah.
to hear more about that.
yeah, I think there's like 900 bills. There's
Ooh.
it's over.
600. I heard 600. And they've only passed 45 so far.
So overwhelming experience, but a great day. And that's it for me.
Thanks, Caitlin. Colin.
Okay. On the 3rd, I met with Caitlin Joette. Had a nice meeting. On the 4th, I met with a group of people, including the Park Service, state parks, BLM, and some community leaders about bike access into Arches. And we've kind of zeroed in on the Willow Springs Road out of the state park as probably the low hanging fruit. So that's been a really good conversation. It seems to be moving along fast and the right people at the table. On the 6th, on personal note, we did a test run of Moab's first official bike bus, starting at Cinema Court and ending at HMK. And so I'm glad we did a test run because apparently it takes a lot longer to ride from Cinema Court to HMK with first and second graders than I could have ever imagined. And so we really had to recalibrate all the stops and everything else. But it was an absolutely hysterical time that had music, and I'm definitely going to be getting Lex and James involved in that one when it's official because it's hysterical. But today we had a trail mix meeting, talked mostly about HB 381, which is now it's called I think the electric mobility device. And so there's a lot of interesting stuff happening with that, and the state's really trying to through this really kind of simplify things. And I think especially in terms of law enforcement, it's a big improvement. And as it continues to evolve, I'll continue to follow it. And that is it for me.
Great. Thank you. And I know the league is in support of that bill, so they'll be
Great.
supporting that as well.
Great. Thanks for sharing all this.
Yeah, and I'll keep doing that when it
Please.
goes through. Okay. Thanks, Colin. For me, I had a meeting on the 29th with the Government Accountability Office regarding the Umpter site. As we all know, it's getting ready to close. And so they wanted to interview me about the process, and all I kept saying, it's great. It's one of the best, it was very interesting. Young people at the Government Accountability Office.
Yeah.
It seemed like. Michael and I met with UDOT that same day. We discussed a new passing lane south of town, and from the OSTA to the county line going south. And what were some of the other things? It was a good meeting.
Yeah, it was. And I should have said something about it too, but I thought it was, oh, wow. I thought it was like 2 months ago. So one of the things I think is really exciting to report on is there are some improved pedestrian features on Center Street and Main and First North and Main. I won't go into detail about what they are, but they're designed to provide the pedestrians with a little added safety and monitoring what's going on around them, and can potentially influence the time on the walk signal.
And they did,
So-
because we tested it, because we met them at the spoke. I think I told you guys about this. And we slowly walked across the street. And so when the hand, says 15 seconds and it goes off and it's like, stop. The light did not change until we hit the curb.
And we wouldn't recommend people trying testing.
But I wish we had video of that.
Yeah,
Give us
we-
anything to
we-
see,
well.
too.
But I think it's great. The director of the region said that we're one of the first to get it outside of Salt Lake City. So or Salt Lake area. And so that was really exciting. I did want to say something about
Yeah,
that.
thanks. Yeah, because I forgot about everything, but it was good meeting, great relationship with you. More to talk about later. I also attended LPC online. Some of the things for you guys to be aware of. There's a lot of property tax bills. The one that you were concerned about, Caitlin, about changing the percentages got killed, so that's no longer gonna be the case. Yeah, that one's out. But all the other ones that, we oppose quite a bit, increasing the cap of, raising taxes, higher than 5% is on there, that we're not gonna be allowed to. Voter approval for property tax is another bill. New growth, that's a little complicated to explain, but we're also opposed to that. So there's quite a bit going on, with property tax. So more to come on that. We hear about it at all of our meetings at LPC. So like Caitlin mentioned, we're gonna be having to ramp up in getting a hold of our legislators. The one that kind of concerns me is the water fee bill. And so basically, if we want to get any kind of funding from the state for water infrastructure projects, they're gonna charge a fee. So if it's just for a water project, it'd be 1.5%. And if it was for water and sewer, it would be 3. And that goes into effect January of 27. And then in January of 31, it applies to everybody. So that you would have to pay a fee. That for some communities would be outrageously expensive. Like who was it, Park City, that said for them, it would be $29 million a year. So that's one at this point we oppose. The House Bill 184 is a bill we're also paying close attention to. There's been two substitutes, and my understanding is that the last substitute would limit this bill to only first, second, and third class counties. And if that's the case, that's good because it wouldn't apply to us. And then I needed to get off the call in the middle of Senator Adams' talk to everybody. So Caitlin kind of reported on what happened there. I'll be reaching out. We'll be reaching out if we need you guys to get on the phone with our legislators. Interviewed on KZMU last Monday to talk about the city's goals for 26. Met with Commission Chair Mel McCandless last Thursday to talk about this upcoming joint meeting. Get back to me if you can by Friday, make sure so we can confirm that date. And then she and I will work on setting the agenda. First meeting will be held here in City Hall. And we're hoping that the 17th works for everybody. It works for the commissioners right now, so hopefully it'll work out for you guys as well. The hardest part of coordinating a meeting with two government entities is picking the date and the time. We met with our DC team, Ryan Levitt and Tim Stewart, on Monday. As I mentioned, the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee on a vote approved the UMTRA Transition Act. That moves for the full House and the Senate. We should be hearing more about that. And my guess is that's going to be incorporated into another bill. It won't be a separate bill, but we'll hear more about that as it moves forward. We also learned that the grant that we are awarded from the Bureau of Reclamation for the wastewater outfall line is gone. That money's gone. So even though we were awarded the grant, we're probably going to have to reapply. They are going to follow up with the Nature Conservancy, because if you recall, the Nature Conservancy was our partner on this, and it really was a benefit to the wetlands as well as to us. So we're going to continue to reach. We don't know where the Nature Conservancy is on that, so our DC group is going to reach out to them because they also work for them to get a sense of where we want to go from here with that project. And that's all I have.
I've
One more?
I pulled up my notes from the rest of LPC. So the things that you missed, the most scary one. Well, so there's kind of two. There's a new HB 470 building inspection amendments, which seems like really unclear, but it's just another step towards like third party.
Right.
But it applies to a quote alteration undefined of an owner occupied single family home. And the municipality must accept plan review if the application is complete and there's a statement by a licensed third party inspector. municipality can still conduct inspections, but the applicant can still use third party. So basically like it's very clear that they're trying to,
Yeah, there's a
So-
similar bill to this one like that last year, I think.
yeah.
And we are involved in those, our building department, planning department, and our legal team are definitely involved in weighing in on these as well. These are not good.
And then the other really bad one that they dropped was HB 479.
Yeah,
Which requires 2 poll workers to attend ballot box drop-off locations. Why you need a poll worker at a drop-off location? It's a lot. So,
okay, there's something
oh,
else.
and then I think the other thing that I was thinking of earlier for SB 242 was the one that they talked about, that we talked about a little earlier with potential fund flexibility related to parking and ride stuff. I don't know. SB 242. I don't have very good notes on it, but maybe.
Yeah, that one, that's the fifth and the TIF, the TIF, the transportation tax.
Yeah.
That we could impose, or the county could impose, we couldn't.
Oh, that's okay.
And that, we talked about that the other day. That's an option for funding for the transit service, but it's another sales tax.
Yeah.
And, I don't think there's a big desire to do that. But there's also funding available through that bill for bus replacements for smaller cities, and that is something that we could look into to get funding from the state for. So that's what I got out of that one.
Yeah.
And right now, I think they said there's only 2 communities in the state that are doing the TIF. And I think it's Park City, and because they have a good transit service in Salt Lake with UT. All right, anything else, Caitlin? One of the things that Mel and I talked about, and we'll be talking about, is how the city and the county can work together on legislative issues, because 9 times out of 10, the issues that are impacting the county are also going to impact us and vice versa. So it just seems like we should be working together as a city and the county during legislative sessions, so we're on the same page. Our voices together are stronger than separate. So we'll be talking about that also at the joint meeting coming up. All right, we had 2 items from closed session, but we're not going to do them tonight because, well, it's the things you guys are already aware. I've talked to all of you guys about that when we met. And again, we'd like to share that with everybody when they're here. So with that, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Colin, second by Caitlin.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.